Hello. I'm very happy because I'm interviewing a very special person today. His name is Dr. Madan Vasishta. Is your sign name on the face or on your chest near the heart? Sign name on the face is for India, other one in America. He's very well known within the Indian deaf community. Dr. Madan is India's first deaf PhD student who obtained his PhD degree from Gallaudet University. We are pleased to have you here. With all due respect, I would like to ask you a few questions. Yes, sure. So my question is, as you are the first deaf Indian person who completed his PhD and you were the only one from the country at that time, did you face any difficulties with white and other colored students as there is cultural difference? If yes, how did you overcome these barriers? Well, I approached it step by step. I did not initially plan for a PhD. I went to America and completed my BA, and afterward I finished my MA. And during that time, there were not many options available for a PhD for the deaf. At that time, there was no PhD. There were, but very few. I was very determined to try PhD, although I was married and had 2 children and working. I remained dedicated in pursuing my PhD and worked diligently towards that goal. Pursuing a PhD is quite challenging. It's not an easy task. You need to follow proper steps, and skipping any step is not an option. I followed the steps and successfully completed my PhD. Now I'm feeling good about it. Great. You have written 4 books. Are all of them related to Indian Sign Language? There are a total of 8 books. 8 books. 4 of those books are related to ISL. Each representing different regions. The first from Delhi, the second from Bangalore, the third from Kolkata, and the fourth is from Mumbai. These books highlight the diverse variation of ISL. Apart from these, there are 2 personal books, Deaf in Delhi, which reflects my life in India, and Deaf in DC, which details my experiences after moving to America. Later, HISTORY, that's history. The history of deaf education was lacking, so I conducted research and received a Fulbright scholarship to travel and document the work in a book. Lastly, I used to teach at a university where B.Ed and M.Ed programs lacked any relevant books. To address this, an author named Gayatri Ahuja and I collaborated to write a book for them. That's how I completed writing 8 books. You have been a writer for long. During this process, have you noticed any change, any growth, or do you feel any impact? I've noticed small changes. Although they're not significant, I was somewhat happy with them. There has been a persistent issue in India, which is that hearing management mostly focuses on oral system and thinks that others are fools. We have to fight against them and tell them that we can use sign language. We need to advocate for that. Hearing people couldn't realize their power over control. In America, deaf people who can use sign language assert their control to push hearing people. Similarly, we should do the same in India. See, Dr. Aleem has been trying to exert control over the program and communicate with hearing people. Deaf can, deaf can, deaf can. Absolutely, the more we empower deaf people, it will be good for the future. Dr. Sibaji Panda from Odisha, along with his school and students, are signing so well, including the deaf teachers. The students are able to develop their literacy skills and acquire knowledge through sign language, on par with how hearing students learn. The oral method is not working, and that's why sign language is being used instead. Is it important to acquire knowledge that helps us read and write? Is it true? Yes, cognitive skills help us read and write. If not acquiring, cognitive skills won't help, right? See now, a student named Jyoti is unable to read and write, whereas a hearing student can progress further unlike her. Oh yes, it's on the movie, right. So now, as you seem to observe, changes and advocacy are still ongoing. What we see is that there are still some barriers. We strive to provide accessibility, but there has not been much progress in literacy, and there's a lot more to do. What is your perspective, and what are some tips that you can give us? Well, to begin with, the director of ISLRTC is hearing. The hearing director knows nothing about the deaf community, yet continues to exert control. Dr. Mangla, who works at ISLRTC, why has she not been appointed as director? She could have significantly expanded the creativity and reach of ISL. Additionally, AIFT and NAD as deaf associations should unite and collaborate rather than working separately. Furthermore, all deaf associations across India should unite to advocate for making sign language mandatory in all deaf schools. B.Ed and M.Ed graduates should possess ISL skills. While there are currently a few skilled individuals, there were none in the past. The graduates are somewhat skilled in ISL, but all of them should possess ISL fluently. Absolutely. Thank you for advising this message. I saw that you wrote the history of deaf education in India, which was published. What are your plans following that? I wrote the book and shared it with the Indian deaf community. Now it is your work. I'm old and retired now. People like Dr. Lim, you and others in the community need to take on the responsibility and carry the research forward. Take it as a challenge. Don't think that just because Dr. Madan is old and retired, the work ends here. It's time for you all to take up. Thank you so much. It was truly inspiring. I have one last question for you. What message would you like to give to the Indian deaf community? Be confident, proud of being deaf. Don't think that just because you're deaf, you can't accomplish anything. Stay positive. Stay focused. And deaf can do anything. Work hard, stay connected with others, and support each other within the community, and don't dwell on minor things. Thank you so much for giving us your time and sharing your valuable experiences and stories with us. We will keep that message in mind. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Madan Vasishta.